Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you all for joining us today. We're going to be doing our Security Excellence webinar, in which we're going to be diving into cybersecurity a little bit, talking about Microsoft Teams, and overall, just wanted to introduce you to the world of Solulan and what we're able to do for you guys, right? So, for those who don't know who I am, my name is Juan Lucero, and I'm the Business Development Manager for Solulan. As we continue to expand and establish our footprint across the United States, I'll make sure to make the business conversations pertaining to cybersecurity pretty much easy and understanding for you, right? And with me today, I have our very own industry expert and leader, Vice President of Unified Communications, Rija Raharinosi.
It's a pleasure for me to be here with all of you. For those of you who may don't know me, as Juan said, I'm Rija Raharinosi, and I run the Unified Communication Division within Solulan, and it's a real pleasure to be all with you today.
Wonderful, wonderful. So let's go ahead and dive right into it. So today's agenda, we're going to go ahead and talk about a cyber attacks life cycle, right? From the beginning to end, what pertains to cyber attack? How do they even get in? And we typically only find out about the end when they charge you a bunch of money on, ransom, right? Number two, we're going to talk about how to take action against these cyber attacks, how to protect you and your own business, educate others around you. And then we're going to go ahead and dive into the Microsoft Teams and the new version of it, which is the premium, right? Reach is going to talk to you about what are the bells and whistles to it, the cybersecurity features, and how we could all tie it up together so you can have a safe space to communicate internally with everybody at your workplace or, in your everyday life, right? So surviving the cyber battlefield, right? We all hear about talks about the cyber attacks going on in the world, right? It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. It's saying that I've heard all throughout my career here when diving into the world of IT. Now, battling these type of cyber attacks, some have even had personal experience with losing their credentials to social media like WhatsApp, Instagram, or Snapchat. Well, I want you guys to imagine that on a larger scale, right? Where we're dealing with people's hard-earned success and achievements, right? We're talking about the small to medium-sized businesses that even the big guys and the favorite brands we know and love. Right. Today, I want to share some examples of those companies that we pretty much rely on if we encountered at some point in our lives, and they've done an impact, or we pretty much utilize them on our everyday. Right. So, a little story about our friend AT&T. So for my Canadian friends and folks that are tuning in today, AT&T is one of the largest telecom communication here in the States. And AT&T, exactly a month ago today, they confirmed that 73 million current and former customers were caught up in a data leak that occurred. And we're not just talking about names, emails, and phone numbers or addresses that you could find with a quick Google search. We're talking about social security numbers and one-time key access codes to get into certain either accounting information or critical information, right? And this data breach, I'm sure it caused an uproar, and a bunch of class action lawsuits started going out against AT&T, accusing them of breach of negligence and the way that they utilize their information, and they didn't take the right steps to prevent it. And just to have an example of a gentleman by the name of Alex Petrosky, the lawyers representing him said that this attack could have been avoided if AT&T took the right steps in order to protect their customers' information and were proactive about these type of attacks, right? Now, I want to shift that story to, everybody has gotten a car before, right? Everybody has gone to the dealership. Some it might be our first car, it might be a car for our kids, it might be a car for our wives, who knows, but we've been to a car dealership in the past, right? And we all know the sensitive information that goes with it. You have to get screened, you have to put in your social security, they got to run your credit, they got to talk about pricing. If everything goes well, then you got to make a deposit, you got to make a payment. Some are bank transfers, some are a check that has your own account information, right? Well, this specific dealership out of Kansas happen to have a hackers infiltrate their network and create 9 fake employees in less than 24 hours. Now, 9 fake employees received a nice lump sum of $63,000. And luckily for them, they were able to recover 40,000 of it, but 23 was lost just because their account information was compromised. They were able to take in and get out in a timely manner. And that $23,000, it could have been used for a marketing campaign that they wanted to do, hiring a brand new person, do some renovations around the dealership, expand a little bit more. And just imagine that in a pocket of, your small to medium sized businesses or your own typical business owner. Right. So we want to talk about a cybersecurity attacks lifecycle, right? How did it even get in the first place? Right. So we want to talk about the infiltration piece, right? They infiltrate the dealer and find the supplier. So first they get in either through spoofing, doing a phishing link, or, stealing your credentials. You click something and you exit out of it quickly and you think, hey, everything's fine. Nothing happened. My phone works. My computer works. Great. Right. Well, that's not the case. Typically, they live within your network, and I'm sorry, you guys. So they live within your network, and then they could stay up to 287 days within your network before it's even detected, right? And for my folks that like to work out, that are very athletic, then it starts moving on a lateral piece, right? Except for these hackers, they really don't get tired at all of navigating within your network, finding which one is the juiciest part of the pie, right? Where can they get the critical information from the owners, the directors, the accounting department? And that's the information that once they find it in a world full of cats, they're going to be a raccoon and try to take their food, right? And once they take it and they get what they find, they're going to make copies of it. They're going to put it out on the dark web. And that's when they hold you for ransom, right? How much is your business worth to you? How much are you willing to pay in order to get your business back and start from scratch and build from whatever reputation you have left, right? And what we tend to see is that these are all detection challenges. It's all before they even got in and how they even got in. If we really don't put the proper steps in place to protect our information and protect our network, then that's when they can really find the different vulnerabilities to go in and infiltrate it, right? And you guys might be asking yourselves, could this really happen to me, right? It's the big guys that they're after, the people that have the money that they can afford, like AT&T, to bounce back from something like this, right? But in reality, no, these things do happen, right? And when it does happen, you might be wondering, well, why do they target small to medium sized businesses? Well, it's due to this a couple of several factors. First of all, when you're a business owner, you deal with a lot of assets, either in different bank accounts, or you have different investors or different partners. You always have money or cash flow moving in, right? Either you're providing a service or a specific product, but once you're receiving any sort of either direct deposit or cash flow or payment, and that's what hackers like to look out for and like to see. The second thing is the false sense of security, right? We're too busy focused on running our business and what's the next big thing that we're going to do, what's the next initiative, what's the next product, how am I going to stand out, what's the next marketing plan, that we tend to forget about, or the most important part, which is security, right? Making sure we have a layer in there protecting the information that we're doing, right? If we're getting money in, making sure it's smooth and it's a good transaction that you could do safely and securely. And lastly, you might be in possession of customer data. We're talking about lawyers' offices. We're talking about dentist offices. You might have critical information like social security numbers. If you're a lender or car dealership, the hackers can exploit and put in the black market and in the dark web, right? Now, how to take action today, right? What are some tips and tricks that we like to let you guys know on how to take action either in your personal life or at work, right? Is first of all, remove any unnecessary software systems that are linked to any sort of bank account or work computer, right? We want to make sure that we always remove anything that's not work related or not having anything to do with your work or critical information separate, right? I always stand by a law, which is my work is my work and my personal is my personal. I never even look up restaurants on my work computer sometimes, just to make sure that you have to segment it and you are doing your due diligence to prevent from either a streaming website or you're trying to watch a movie or a game online, to getting into your network and harming you with something malicious. Secondly, you want to educate those around in your network to never open any attachments or any links, right? We always look for those emails and phishing, and it's very redundant. We always hear about any unexpected email. Don't click on it. Don't click on any link. You don't know it's yours. But these hackers are getting smarter and smarter. They know when you're closing on your first house. They know when you're in the middle of refinancing a home. They know when you're in the middle of a big business transaction or you deal with certain vendors and suppliers, right? The biggest thing you could do is educate those around you, right? You might get a new employee who isn't familiar with the type of vendors that your company utilizes on their day to day, right? They don't know what to click on. I get tons of emails every single day pretending to be my CEO, letting me know to reach out to them for something urgent that they have or a collaboration that they'd like to work with, which here, click on this presentation. And it's always important to be on the lookout, do your due diligence, and always educate those around you. And lastly, it's always consult with an expert, review it regularly. We have a team of experts on our side that you could reach out to, that we always open our arms to, for you guys to actually get a review of your current infrastructure or how to enhance your certain coverage to protect you from something like this from happening. So always review with an expert, reach out and get a consultation. Hey, where am I on a security front? I feel like I have this in place. How safe and secure am I? Right. And our recommendations to you is have at least of following tools protecting your business. I mean, everybody has run into the MFA where you have to two-step authentication or go into a specific app to go ahead and give access a certain platform safe and securely. So these are just simple ways where you can protect your own business CRM or even a critical piece of data that you're protecting and it's only internal use only. You can limit who gets into it and who has access to it. Secondly, it's a managed detection and response for my people that are not very techy. It's just imagine your laptop and your endpoint. That's what we're going to call it. It's a system where you have critical information and you access the online, the internet and the data and the cloud per se. You want to make sure that it's always protected. You want to make sure that it has a bodyguard, always watching it, always looking out for something happening, detecting and always also responding to it, right? Let's say something does happen and someone tries to get in, right? Can we take action right away? Can we make that response? And lastly, a phishing protection and awareness tool, right? You always want to make sure that, of course, how you're doing your due diligence of educating others around you and giving them certain trainings and quizzes on what is phishing, testing them, letting them know, hey, if you click on this specific link, it's a spoof that we did to test you on it. But not only that, but protecting you from it, filtering out all those bad emails that are happening or are coming into your inbox. You want to make sure you have something to filter it that's always scanning it, making sure that it doesn't involve something malicious containing, and it doesn't even get into your inbox in the first place. But I'd like to thank everybody and then pass it on to Rija, who's going to dive in a little bit more into the Microsoft aspect of it and the cybersecurity piece. Thank you, Rija.
Wonderful. Well, thank you very much for this great presentation here. Thank you for your insight. As this is a webinar that is actually talking about security today, I wanted to talk about Microsoft Teams Premium, which is really the version of Microsoft Teams that is for security conscious organizations. As you probably all know, and you have alluded to it really well, in today's digital age, the security of your organizations, whether it's a small business, a medium size, or a large business, the security of your organizations is paramount. And with the rise of remote work and online collaboration, it's really, really important than ever that you use a reliable, secure, and efficient platform. And my hope is to introduce to you today, if you are conscious about security, Microsoft Teams Premium. Okay. But first of all, for those of you who are not familiar with what Microsoft Teams is, I just want to maybe take a step back here quickly, and just to give you a sense of what Microsoft Teams, for those of you who are not familiar with it, it is a comprehensive communication tool. It's a collaboration platform that is designed to facilitate efficient and effective teamwork. Okay. For those of you not using it today, you need to know that Teams is part of the Microsoft 365 family. It's the suite of services that integrates seamlessly with all of the other Microsoft applications that you may be aware of today, such as Outlook, PowerPoint, Word, Excel, etc., etc. You want to know that Teams is the ultimate messaging app for your business. It provides you a workspace for real-time collaboration and communication. It allows you for meetings, file sharing, application sharing, and even supports the use of emojis for those of you who are, Gen Z and Gen X. And all of these features typically are actually accessible in one single place. which promotes transparency and inclusivity within the business. Okay. Something that you need to know is that Microsoft Teams is not just another collaboration tool. The Teams version, the premium version of Microsoft Teams, is the most used applications in Microsoft 365. Okay, just some stats that I'd like to share with you. Microsoft Teams today is used by about 320 million users across the world. These are the latest numbers that we got from Microsoft. Obviously, COVID, obviously the explosion of remote work that's really fueled the growth of use. About 1 million businesses throughout the world are using Microsoft Teams. And for those of us who are using it mostly for business purposes, about 91% of Fortune 100 companies are actually using this tool today. Today, I'd like to introduce you to the premium version, which is the security, the one that is filled with security featured within Microsoft Teams. Okay, so Microsoft Teams Premium is a secure, intelligent, scalable solution that can help your organization thrive in this digital age. It has advanced security featured. It has AI powered meeting experiences with compliance capabilities and scalabilities that you really want to be aware of today. Okay, so today there's basically 3 reasons why you want to use Microsoft Teams from a security standpoint, which I'll be talking about, which are basically protections against data breaches. That's number 1. I'll show you exactly how. It's prevention for cyber threats and prevention of cyber threats. And then the third reason is the compliance with regulations. But before we go there, I'd like to give you a very short overview of Microsoft Teams Premium video that I'm going to play. And then after that, I will jump right into the 3 reasons why Microsoft Teams Premium is the secure version of Microsoft Teams. Okay. So as you've probably seen into that video, there's basically 3 reasons. And by the way, because this is a webinar that is really focused on cybersecurity, I'm not going to go into the other zillion amount of reasons why Teams Premium is the best version here. I'm only going to focus on the security related features, but the way Microsoft Teams basically uses its advanced security measures and protects you against data breaches comes to 3 different ways. Okay, the first one is what we call controlled access. Controlled access in Microsoft Teams Premium is basically a security feature that allows you to control who can join your meetings. It means that only those who are invited to your meeting can actually bypass the lobby and join the meetings that you have set up. This is going to reduce the risk of unauthorized access to your meetings. The second reason why Microsoft Teams protects you against data breaches, which Juan alluded before, is what we call content management. Microsoft Teams Premium provides you advanced features that allows you to manage what all of your attendees in your meeting can actually see. It allows you to vet the content that you're actually showing to these participants. And this is going to help you prevent any accidental sharing of sensitive information. Okay. The third reason how Microsoft Teams Premium protects you against data breaches, which we talked about before, is really around encryption and restriction. The premium version of Microsoft Teams offers what we call end-to-end encryptions. It means that your data when you use Microsoft Teams Premium, your data is converted into a code, an encryption code that only the authorized parties in your meeting can read. It allows you to limit who can record the meeting, and it allows you to also have an additional layer of data protection. All of these reasons are how data breach protection is provided through Microsoft Teams. Okay. Cyber threat prevention. Another three reasons how Microsoft Teams provides you prevention for data threats. One, the use of watermarks. So watermarks can be used for your audio calls, your video content, but also any shared content that you may have. Watermarks is a means that it means that any unauthorized copying or recording of your meeting content can be traced back, and provides a deterrent against data theft. Okay, we talked about end-to-end encryption. When you are in a Microsoft Teams meeting, you can have up to 200 meeting participants. Okay, so it means that the data that you're sending to all of those 200 meeting participants is actually converted through an encryption code that I mentioned already, that only the other people, the 200 people in your meeting, can actually read. Only them can read, and everything is encrypted end to end. And then finally, the use of sensitivity labels and restrictions allows you to turn off the ability for participants, for instance, to copy and paste from your meetings. So if you're sharing information that is highly confidential and you do not want any of that to be copied directly from a screenshot, that sensitivity labels directly through Microsoft Teams Premium is available to you. So only these features, only the version of Microsoft Teams Premium provides you these features. And again, these are important features for people who are obviously trying to prevent potential cyber threats. Okay. Um, for those of you who are doing business with financial organizations or security related organizations, one of the reasons why Microsoft Teams Premium is also a good option is the compliance with regulations. Okay, it's important for you to know that Microsoft Teams Premium supports about 90 regulatory standards and laws. That includes GDPR for those of you who are doing business with European customers or suppliers, HIPAA compliant for those of you who are doing business with healthcare, FedRAMP compliancy, but also standards such as SOC 1, SOC 2, ISO 2701, basically all of the business regulations that you may want if you do business with large organizations who are unfortunately have to adhere to certain standards. So adherence to standards is also checked with Microsoft Teams. Control features. Microsoft Teams provides you about 1,000 controls that allows you to meet the requirements of these most rigorous industry regulations. So if you're doing business with regulated industries, Microsoft Teams can meet the regulations for all of these requirements. Okay, and then compliance, regulatory compliance. If you have to do business with companies where your information needs to be recorded, for instance, SEC, FINRA related, where you need to audit. Let's say you need to audit information, or you need to audit meetings. You need to know exactly if there's any business conduct that was violated. Microsoft Teams provide you the ability to research and have access to all of that information. So that is why you want to do business with Microsoft Teams. And then finally, which again it's not exactly a security related feature, but I'm still going to mention to it because it's, as you probably have heard these days with ChatGPT, AI is everywhere. What Microsoft has done with the premium version of Teams Premium is basically they've infused ChatGPT or GPT-4 within Microsoft Teams. So all of the premium version of this Microsoft Teams basically includes AI premium features that are really, really, really powerful. One of them is what we call the intelligent recap, which, by the way, I use day in, day out. Intelligent recap basically allows me to have access automatically. I don't have to do anything. Automatically, I have access to an overview of all of my meetings. I know exactly who was in my meetings. I have access to the recording of my meetings. I have access to what was said at what time. I can have access to different chaptering of all the different what was said during the meeting. I have access to insights about the meeting, but most importantly, I also have access to AI generated notes and tasks. So I no longer need to actually take notes because the AI generates the notes directly and allows me to basically have access to all of my key points, my takeaways, my follow-ups, all of this generated and powered by GPT-4. All of this done for you. This is included into Microsoft Teams Premium. And then finally, for those of you who are actually who like to be able to review your meetings, you also have access to what we call markers, timeline markers, which are basically allows you to navigate efficiently within your meetings, and you can basically navigate directly in the parts of the recording that is most relevant to you, with all of the personalized timeline markers that allows you to see exactly who said what at what moment. So all of these features will help you to make your meetings more intelligent and personalized, and as we said, protected. Okay, so we're coming up to the end of the webinar now. Obviously, we would like to all of you to think about upgrading to Microsoft Teams Premium. One thing that is really important for you is that you do not need to upgrade everybody to Microsoft Teams Premium. It's something that you can use. You can deploy to certain specific users only. It's up to you. It's also important for you to know that it is very cost effective. It's about $7 US per user to have access to the premium version. So very, very cost effective compared to other premium AI tools that you need. So again, upgrade today and make sure that you don't protect just your data, but that you also enhance the way you work and that you safeguard the digital space that you work with within some robust security, compliance, and privacy controls. Okay, so now we're now going to move into the Q&A section. Is it included in the business premium license? The answer is no. It's an add-on. Microsoft Teams Premium is an add-on, $7 per user per month, $7 US per user per month, which is an add-on that you need to add to your business premium license. Okay, again, it's an add-on that you can add only to a specific amount of users. You do not have to add it on to everyone. You can add it only to one person if you want, or to everybody, or just to a subset of your users. Okay, but they will have access to all of the things, all of the security features that I mentioned to you before. Okay, if there's any other questions?
Perfect. We'll wait for any other additional questions here. Thank you so much for that insight as well, Rija. Greatly appreciated. Perfect. Thank you, and also introduce you to Solulan, what we do, what we're about. This big footprint here in the United States is incredible and a huge milestone for us. We just turned 25 years of experience here, so we always want to strive to look at what's the best and always provide the very best for our clients. So Mark said, we talked about security earlier. You work in a very remote location, limited internet. Enabling 2FA is not feasible. Any recommendations for that?
2FA is not an option, which is one of the options that you mentioned in your presentation. I would probably focus on making sure that you have access to maybe an MDR on your environment. Very remote location with limited internet. So that in itself obviously is not very practical, but at the same time, it also limits the ability for hackers to remotely access your information. I would say, Marc-André, that maybe the best way to start is maybe to have a conversation and really have a sense of how your environment is. And maybe we can have one of our security experts to sit down with you and come up with some recommendations, because it's, as probably you've seen in Juan's presentation, it's not one or two applications that really is going. It's an environment that you need to set up. So maybe that's where we need to start the conversation.
Yeah, of course. Perfect. Thank you so much. And yeah, Marc-André, to just add on a little bit more onto that, There's always different options when it comes to MFA or 2FA. I've seen cases before where either a physical device could be provided to always refresh a brand new number, or a lot of different things out there. We'd be more than happy to have a conversation with you and find something that does fit your environment. More than anything, we tailor all of our services to you guys. So, any other follow-up questions, you could always feel free to reach out to Rija and myself. We'd be more than happy to talk about it individually. Yeah, perfect. Thank you, Martin, with the encryption key.
Thank you, Juan. Thank you, everyone, for attending this webinar out of your busy schedule. You all know us. You all you know where to reach out to the Solulan team. If there's any way now that we are based in the United States, but also in Canada, we'd love to be of assistance, obviously, as you grow your business. And if there's any questions you have, you just don't hesitate to reach out to all of us.
Excellent. Perfect. Thank you so much. Thank you, guys.
Thanks.
Hope you guys have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Solulan, la face cachée de votre succès.